Creating a review cycle in Charlie is super simple. You can get this completed in just a few steps. So you have two places you can create a review cycle from, either within the template itself. So on the goals check-in, for example, template actions, use now. Or for most people, you'll create it from here, from your reviews activity page, the first page you come to. You just click new review cycle and it asks you which template do you want to use. So you have the option of creating a new template right here, right now, if you need to do that. However, if you're going to use an existing review template, either from Charlie or a custom template, they'd appear here. By clicking on the template, you'll then see a kind of an overview of what the template looks like, so you can make sure it's the one you want to use. You'll see the questions for both participants and their instructions. Below that, you'll see the option to include peer feedback. So by toggling this on, it's super clear within the review that you want your reviewer to gather peer feedback. I will flag, peer feedback is not something the super admin or admin sets up in requests. You can turn it on or turn it off, but it is up to the reviewer themselves to gather that feedback and select the peers. So if you want to include peer feedback, you can toggle this on. If you toggle this off, it's showing that peer feedback is not required. However, reviewers always have the option to request peer feedback, even if you have toggled this off. Now, I did mention that admins and super admins aren't able to request the feedback themselves or manage the peer feedback, because that's what the reviewer does. But you can add specific questions, instructions that you want the peers and the reviewers to see and be aware of and to think about. So if you want to think about their work this past cycle, or if there's specific questions you want to answer, have they done a good job, for example, anything like that, you can include here, and then everyone will see this when they're inputting their peer feedback, so they know kind of what to think about. If you want to leave it completely open-ended, you can leave this section blank. It is not mandatory. So once you're happy with the template you've selected and your peer feedback settings, you click next, and then we'll ask you who is going to be reviewed. So on Charlie, you have the option of having all your employees reviewed. So everyone within the company are automatically added to this review cycle. You do have the option of excluding people. So if you're going to run a company-wide quarterly review, but you've just had 3 new starters, they probably don't need to participate. So you can select to exclude them here. You also have the option of running reviews for just individual employees or specific users. So this is great if you're running a probation review or an exit review, or if you want to run your review cycles by teams. We do have some users who prefer to not do company-wide reviews, but like an ops team review, a sales team review. It's a little bit more setup, but you can definitely do that on the system. So you just select the team members you want to include here. For this example, though, we're going to use all employees. By clicking next, it will ask you who you want to review them. So you have the option of selecting their line manager. So anyone who has a line manager on the system, it will automatically set that line manager up as the reviewer. You also have the option of one person reviewing everyone. So if you're a smaller company or your CEO wants to be the reviewer for everyone, you can do that here. And then you also have the option of setting custom reviewers where you manually set the reviewers. So this is great if you want to do skip level one-to-ones, or if you want to do more peer-to-peer reviews, you can set that up yourself. For this example, we'll go ahead and stick with the line manager, click save, and now the review has been created but not scheduled. So this would be what we would consider a draft and what we looked at the very beginning of the review. You'll see any errors, so this will flag any reviewers who are missing. So these users don't have line manager set up in the system. You can just click change reviewer and select the new reviewer for them from the list and update. You're also able to change a reviewer for any reviewee here as well, or delete a participant from the review completely. I will flag that you're only able to change the reviewers yourself until feedback has been shared. Once Alex here shares feedback with Ginny, you won't be able to change the reviewer. You would need to get in touch with us so we can unshare that feedback, and then you can change it. And then below that, you'll see an outline of the review structure. So what team members will experience. They'll each submit their own feedback. They'll have meeting notes. The reviewer will add in the final meeting notes, and then the reviewer will have the feedback from peers because we selected to include that. You'll then see the review timeline. So this is the day the review cycle was created. We have yet to schedule a start date. We'll do that in a moment. Once you've scheduled the start date, that's the day the review launches. All your team members receive an email letting them know. They also receive an email halfway through letting them know that, hey, you're halfway through. It's like a little nudge letting them know they need to complete the review. And then you're asked to input an end date just so everyone knows like when they need to complete the review by. However, admins and super admins are always able to extend a review cycle that's in progress. You can extend an ended review. You're always able to extend a review if you need to give your team members more time. And then we come to the schedule review section. So this is where it asks you to add the review name. So we by default populate it for you. You're able to change that if you'd like. You're also able to input your start date. So you can do it as far into the future as you would like. And an end date. We'd recommend about 3 to 4 weeks to have a full complete review cycle. Again, you are always able to completely extend the review if you need. And last but not least, you're able to customize the launch email. So this is the email that all participants will receive on that start date you've selected. You can customize the subject line. You can customize the email content. If, for example, you want to include, if you have any questions, who to contact, if there's a specific date you want them to hold the review meeting on, you can input that all here. Once you're happy with how everything looks and you're ready to schedule the review, you can click schedule. And then we'll ask you if you want to run this review again in the future. So Charlie does not automatically rerun review cycles for you. However, you can set up a nudge on a date of your choice. If this is like a quarterly review and you want to be reminded to set this up every quarter, Charlie will send you an email. You also have the option to schedule the reviews as far in advance as you'd like. So if you know in January you're going to be running 4 reviews and you know the dates you're going to be running the reviews on, you can set them all up in Charlie to run in the future, and then you're always able to edit them up until the launch date. Totally up to you. By clicking schedule, you're then taken back to that activity page and you would see the review as upcoming. If you scheduled it for upcoming. If you scheduled it to launch today, it would then show as in progress. And if you didn't yet set those schedule dates, again, it would live here as a draft. So congratulations, you have now set up your first review cycle in Charlie.